Some leftist in Finland here. How are y'all doing? I'm doing pretty good. I read the news and I was actually shocked. Yeah, typically when I read the news and I see things, especially political things, I'm not very surprised, but what I read today really, really surprised me. Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, as you've probably well heard, resigned after 5.5 years at her post. She was not at the end of her term. She was not voted out. She simply stated that, she couldn't put all of her passion into it the way that a leader should. And I think that's just fine. And I think that that's admirable in a world where we have so many fragile little men who want to hold on to power for as long as they can, long after either their time is up or the people vote them out. Trump, Bolsonaro, Boris Johnson, insert right-wing leader here who tries to delegitimize perfectly good election results just because they didn't win. You think you're electing big, strong men, and what you're actually getting with these right-wingers is just a bunch of fragile little men. And she was not that. She was not fragile. She was strong when New Zealand needed strength the most, the whole world. But I think the way that she handled the COVID-19 pandemic was exceptional. Unfortunately, some of her fellow country people do not feel the same. And that's kind of why her approval rating towards the end took a bit of a nosedive, and it might make her legacy look a little bit tarnished, but who gives a shit about a bunch of fucking anti-vaxxers? Who gives a shit about them? I don't think history is going to look back on them and smile. They're not going to be seen as freedom fighters. They're not going to be seen as people who tried to go out there and do the right thing. They're just going to be seen as a bunch of whiny, petulant assholes. That's it. And of course, the world economy. Every single world leader right now is at the mercy of inflation. And it's kind of a sad thing that happens when that happens, is that people got to point a finger somewhere. And they don't point it at capitalism. They don't point it at all the corporations who raked in all of that sweet, sweet pandemic lockdown money and didn't give a goddamn thing back. They're not pointing the finger at politicians who have been in power for 20, 30 fucking years or in some position of policymaking and lawmaking. They would rather just point the finger at their leader. And it's sad, I think, at least. Because I don't know what there are definitely ways that a leader can make it worse. I mean, absolutely. But making a global recession better is a very tall order for any world leader. And I think that notwithstanding, she did a very, very good job at making sure working people were being heard. And that's very important to someone like me. Her stepping down, I think it should, in a perfect world, or even a semi-perfect world, should set a pretty clear precedent for world leaders to step down when they feel inside like they just can't take the duties of the job anymore. Instead of holding on to power and fucking your country up, or screwing over some marginalized group, or, just go away. Have a vacation, retire, lie in a hammock somewhere, do absolutely anything but hold on to power to the point that it clouds your judgment even more and you start making worse and worse decisions for your populace. It's, it is really a breath of fresh air. And while the circumstances towards the end of her tenure as prime minister were kind of shitty, I think overall she should be lauded for what she did as Prime Minister of New Zealand and for not taking any shit from any men who asked her male reporters who asked her really stupid fucking questions. She took no shit. People always look at female leaders like Margaret Thatcher as the ones who take no shit. Margaret Thatcher was bullshit. Jacinda Ardern could probably kick the shit out of Margaret Thatcher. Not that this is a fighting contest or anything, but she could totally take Margaret Thatcher. Okay, enough of that. But I wish Jacinda Ardern, I don't think she's watching this video, but if she is, I hope you have a very happy retirement. And who knows, maybe someday in the future she can put her hat back in the ring when the nationalists take over New Zealand and run it into the ground. I'm sure that her or somebody like her will be there to pick up the pieces and start the cycle all over again, because that's the world. That's kind of the world. Somebody comes in, fucks everything up. Somebody comes in, cleans it up. Somebody fucks it up. Somebody cleans it up. Somebody fucks it up. Somebody cleans it up. It's kind of the loop we're stuck in as a species, and, you know, that's the best we can do. And that's all I got to say about that. Happy retirement? I don't know. Saying happy retirement to someone who's, like, in their early 40s is, wow. Happy... Just have fun, Jacinda. Just... live your best life. And fuck the haters. I've always wanted to say that on camera. Have a good day, folks.